All right. Well, welcome back to the Plug In for More podcast. Today we actually have Brian. Thanks for joining us. You apparently just like to click things and turn yourself off.
I do. I have ADHD. I click everything.
Random keystrokes.
God damn it.
I don't even know what to say. I was trying to turn off the startup on my laptop and close the wrong screen.
That's right. I was like, oh, Brian's not going to be a part of this tonight.
I just laughed.
It's like,
Yeah, I've had enough of this one. Yeah.
Brian's contribution.
Yeah. This
I
one's
showed up
good.
for 30 seconds. I'm out.
Yeah. Thanks. And this is all I need to do because I'm special.
Welcome to Plug In for More, brought to you by EVUniverse.com. EV Universe is your one-stop shop for all things related to the electric vehicle. Here on this podcast, our goal is to educate, inspire, and hopefully make your transition into the electric vehicle marketplace a lot less intimidating. And now, here are your hosts, Mike, Tom, and Bryant.
We had some news that the Kia EV9 is getting closer to being released. What can you tell us about that, Brian?
I'm pretty excited. I've been talking about this ever since it's been debuted. As a starting price is $54,900, which I think is very reasonable. It's hard to compare this. Mike, I'll ask you in a quick second what you think. It's either like the X or the Y, but I think the starting price is right in the middle. I think it's 215 horsepower, 258 pounds of torque. I think it gets cool reviews from me around the interior. Looks great. It's got 3-row seating, and it's got the 800-volt charging. Fast charging, same as my EV6. And I really like the console. Everything about the interior, the exterior looks like a Telluride, but like cooler, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. It's got a lot of cargo space, 81 cubic feet. And then it can tow. It's a real SUV, and unlike the EV6 is technically classified as an SUV. It's not. You're not going to tow with it, but it's got ground clearance of 7.8 inches, and it can tow 5,000 pounds. Not like you're going to be towing the biggest thing in the world with it, but 5,000 pounds would tow my 21-foot boat. So, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's going to be a fantastic selling vehicle. I mean, when I look at this thing, it's the price point is good. I mean, that's the 54.9 is for rear wheel drive. So there's going to be a good segment of the country that's going to want all wheel drive. But you look at the speed of charge, which is a very important thing. The amount of space that it has, I think that's a winning combination. It doesn't have a lot of power, so it's probably going to be a little slower than what a lot of people are used to for an EV, but it's still be plenty fast for what's really needed. Um, I don't know. I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah, and I like it. And after seeing the success of the EV6 and the platform that Kia is building this on, the 7-seat 3-row SUV is going to be huge. And like I know that would be really desirable for me and my family, and my wife's already keying in on this particular car as well. So I'm going to be doing what I can to try to get my hands on it if possible. The big question I would have is if it's going to qualify for tax credits.
Yeah, I was going to go there. So it's being built in South Korea for now. They are planning on moving it though to the Georgia facility in West Point, Georgia. Kia invested $200 million to upgrade that facility to start preparing the EV9 assembly next July. So then it would qualify for the quote unquote assembled in the United States. The only question really I have for Mike is, do you compare it against the Tesla Model Y, which starts at 50,400, or is it more like the X?
I typically, when I look at SUVs, I look at what the capability of it is. Because if you need a big SUV, you're not going to go for a Model Y because it just doesn't have the space. I mean, just the same reason I got rid of the Model Y is because I had a fairly large dog, and then I've got 2 kids. And then if we go on a long trip, we're packing that thing to the gills, and it just wasn't meeting the needs anymore. And so that, even though the price points are fairly close, it's not going to work. Like I could have looked at, let's say, like a Model X or a Rivian R1S, or if this thing was out, I would have looked at that too because it has the capabilities for what I need. And I think the price point puts it more in line with a really attractive offer over a Model X. Now, is it going to be as premium? No. Is it going to be as fast? No. But if it charges really fast and it has a good range, which I think the range is a little bit lacking. I think we're talking like mid 200s. I think is
Yeah.
far as a range. So that's the one negative I see with the SUV with the EV9 is it just doesn't. You can charge real fast, but you got to charge a lot more frequently. So that's going to be a hit against it.
Yeah, I would agree. The Model Y is a kind of like an EV6 size, and this is bigger. I think to your point, the R1S is what, 80, Mike?
Yeah, so the Rivian R1S, so their 3-row SUV that starts at 78 for the dual motor, and then that's obviously more expensive when you add the quad or the large battery pack and that sort of thing. So end of the day, you're really looking at for most people with the R1S that are buying it today, in September of 2023, you're looking at right around minimum 85 for that.
Yeah, so 30 grand. That's a big difference.
It is.
I'll be curious to see though with this EV9 though what those price increases are as you up the drivetrain and
Hmm.
maybe the
Hmm.
trim to get on more of an apples to apples type comparison between the EV9 and the R1S.
Yeah, and I also think when you look at how well the Telluride has done for sales, I mean, this thing to me is just a better looking Telluride that's an EV. And if that's the case, there's gonna be a lot of interest on this thing.
And aesthetically speaking, the headlights are far more attractive than the Rivian.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, and I don't want you to repeat yourself.
I think to your point, they announced the trim levels. I think this is going to be Kia's trim levels for the future. They have the light long range. That's a kind of a newer trim level I'm not familiar with, but they have the Wind, which is the trim level I have, which is the all-wheel drive. They announced the Land. Again, I'm not super sure what that one is, and the GT line. So like that's going to be the fast one, probably the dual motor, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds type of vehicle. So yeah, we'll be curious to apples. But for a rear-wheel drive 3-row EV Telluride, I think it's pretty attractive for 54. All right, so we're just talking about the EV9 not qualifying for the tax credit because it's not assembled in the United States. However, there is a loophole that's being discussed. The dealerships have this loophole that they're talking more and more about. And basically, the loophole is that the U.S. Department of Treasury, in its guidance for the Inflation Reduction Act, said that commercial vehicles, quote unquote, commercial vehicles, most likely that's heavy duty trucks or semis or something like that, would be exempt. But there's a loophole that says that if you lease a vehicle from the dealer, since technically you, the end user, doesn't take possession of the title, it stays in the dealer or the finance company's name. It is a commercial transaction, and then the dealer could get the EV tax credit and pass it along to you. So maybe you could get the EV9 as a leased vehicle and get the tax credit. But Mike and Tom, what do you think about that
That
loophole?
seems almost unbelievable, wouldn't you think so, Mike?
I mean, it's the government, so I think it's believable. Anything can happen, folks. I think we all know that there's always loopholes and things that people forget to write into these things, or they do it on purpose, one way or the other. There's loopholes in every piece of legislation. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's a little crazy, but um, end of the day, if it gets more people into EVs, that's all I really that's all really I care about. So yeah, I mean, if it pushes more people into leasing, I really don't love that, but just from the fact that leases typically are not financially the better option for people. There's times where it can be, but 9 times out of 10, it's really more beneficial to purchase or take a loan out rather than lease. But um, there's instances where it makes sense. If you own a business and you can write some of the lease payments off, or you change vehicles frequently, or you're worried about this thing going out of kind of out of date, being obsolete because it's the technology, that makes sense. But anyways, I'm kind of going off on a tangent there. Ah, this is I don't know what to think at the moment. Frankly, when Bryant was first talking about this, I thought it was a bunch of baloney until we really got into it and started seeing where the loophole actually is. So, I mean, if it's true, it's true. And I think a lot more people are going to lease certain vehicles just because of that.
I have zero problem with it. And I think anything that will put money back in people's pockets and lower their payments to get into new vehicles, regardless of their manufacturer location, is good for everyone.
That's probably a better way to put it.
I would agree with your sentiment. I will say two things on this. One, since technically the institutions are the ones getting the tax credit, they don't have to give you the full value. So if you are going to lease a vehicle, make sure you're actually getting the full 7,500 or 3,750, or because they could say you're getting it and they're giving you $500. So I'm not saying I don't trust dealerships. Just make sure you're getting what you're talking about. And then I'd say number two is the cool part about this is you can take advantage of this tax credit loophole to pretty much get any mass-produced electric vehicle right now to qualify for the tax credit until a lot of these EVs have talked about moving their eligible factories over to United States or parts or whatever it is. So like I think the list of EVs is going to grow that qualify, and we've already seen price reductions to qualify. But right now this loophole, pretty much any EV qualifies. So if you want an EV on the tax credit, go lease it.
Yeah, and that gets you around the income limits as well if you lease, because you as the leasor on that are not subject to those income requirements. And if it's going to the commercial route, then you get around it. So yeah, a lot more people are going to qualify, a lot more vehicles.
Make sure you put my Venmo in the show notes, Tom, so people could send me some of their tax credit that they get back on these lease vehicles for finding
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
That's yeah. I think we should keep drinking, guys. This is
Ah,
yeah.
This might be the second most entertaining podcast. The most being when Renee come on.
that was pretty good. Why don't we have her come back in? What's she
It was
doing?
good.
You're listening to the Plug In for More podcast. If you're looking for information on electric vehicles components, or information on how to reduce your carbon footprint, look no further than evuniverse.com. evuniverse.com is your one-stop shop for all things related to electric vehicle.
So that story about the leasing and the tax credits segues very nicely into our topic for the main part of the episode today on leasing or subscription services in electric vehicles. I'm going to throw it back to Mike on the leasing portion and his thoughts on if it's a good idea to lease an electric vehicle.
Well, like I just mentioned, typically leasing is not the most financially beneficial for most people, versus taking a loan out with a low interest rate. But there's some caveats to that, of course. One is with a lot of EVs, they're not sure what the residual value is going to be, so that's different than what has been in the past for a gas vehicle, where it was a little easier to tell, what that residual value is going to be, and so what your potential buyout would be or your monthly payment. And with a lease vehicle, you're really paying for the depreciation of that vehicle. That's really what you're paying for, and you're essentially betting on what that vehicle is going to be worth at the end of the lease. And with EVs, some manufacturers don't even allow you to turn them or to keep the vehicle at the end, such as Tesla. They used to, but not any longer. So you have to turn the vehicle back in, which for some people that might be a big thing, and it might not be for others. Besides that, there's a couple different things to keep in mind with EVs. Is that they are a newer technology. Things are changing pretty frequently. There's going to be updates to the batteries. There's going to be updates to the motors. We're seeing that with Tesla constantly. They make updates to their vehicles throughout the year. So getting into the newest, the best technology, the longest range, it might make more sense to lease. So you're getting into the newest technology. And if that's something that matters to you, then maybe it's the right thing to do. If you're going to drive a car until it dies, then buying one is going to be a better option than leasing, then purchasing it outright.
But at the end of the day, there's going to be very little difference for an electric vehicle versus a gas vehicle in terms of that lease arrangement. It's going to look the same. This what you're getting at is the only unknown is just that residual value 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So what you're used to with leasing with a gas car, it's going to be the
Yeah.
same process with a EV.
In the same breath as leasing, there's other options that are coming out with electric vehicles and the subscription model.
Other options are coming out with this. I didn't understand
Maybe I
what.
should start over. Would you like me to use smaller words?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tom. Did you just get married a couple of weeks ago? I'm sorry. I don't-
So now I'm
Are you taking your
so
rage
whether or
out
not
on
we
me?
like I keep that part in, like I probably really did sound stupid, so I can't.
No, no, it did sound stupid. Just I honestly I didn't understand like the way you and I'm tired. So I mean, you might have said it appropriately. I was just like it just didn't compute.
So God damn it. So in the same breath as leasing, we're also going to take a look at the subscription models when it comes to electric vehicles. Is that okay?
Well, so we're gonna look at it. Or are we looking at it now? Now, or when are we looking at it?
Well, from the research that
I,
I've done, the only auto manufacturer that's providing a subscription service for an electric vehicle is going to be Volvo, and you can get their XC40 or the C40 with that. The cool thing about the subscription models is that you just have one monthly fee, one monthly price that covers your cost of having the vehicle, that covers your insurance. There's no down payment associated with these types of agreements. And for example, like the Volvo C40 recharge is $915 a month, excluding taxes and fees. Well, by comparison, for that same C40, if you're going to look at leasing it, you'd be looking at $485 a month with I don't know how much down. I would assume probably in the couple $1,000 down, but
yeah, I mean, so you're almost doubling the price of the subscription, which cover I mean your insurance, maintenance, and roadside assistance. I mean, those things are again insurance that a lot of times that has roadside assistance bundled with it already, and then the maintenance is really not a whole lot, and I don't think they're. I mean, don't quote me on this. We'd have to, verify. I don't think in the fine print you're going to see that the maintenance includes, you know, tires. And other than that, the maintenance on EVs, for the most part, I mean, you do have the Audi e-trons that have some 20,000 mile maintenance that needs to get done, but there's most of them. It's really just putting in windshield wiper fluid. I mean, that maintenance cost is next to nothing. Um, you do need to are able to get in and out of the subscriptions a lot easier than you would a lease, though.
yeah. So looking further into Volvo's website, the coverage with this includes the service, maintenance, wear and tear, um, vehicle tax, and more. That's what they worded as. So I would assume the wear and tear would be your tires.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, what are they going to say? It's you know, outside the ordinary, and you're going to be
Yeah.
paying for that. I don't know. And it's you know 1,250 miles a month on the maintenance as
Yeah.
well.
So then there's this other company that is interesting that I get introduced to in Indianapolis area called Motor, and Mike and I have had a relationship with them for a while now. It's trymotor.com. The interesting idea with how they're going about this subscription is they're really thinking about maybe you want to try an EV with no long term commitment, and so you don't even want to do a 36-month lease. You want to do just maybe a 1 month, see how it happens. So their subscription is really interesting. It's $649 a month. I'll get to the type of vehicles in a second. A down payment fee of 400, but they have insurance, roadside assistance, and charger installation, which is really interesting. They will find a local contractor and work with you to get it installed. Only a 1 month commitment and 1,500 miles per month. So that's a really interesting thought. Mike, like I said, we've had conversations and developed a relationship with these guys. What do you think? What are your thoughts on what Motor's doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think what Motor's doing that's really nice is really helping with the charging situation. Working with local utilities and that kind of thing to make sure that the whole process of getting into an EV is done very easily, and it's something that EV Universe, we care a lot about making that whole process of ownership very, very simple, so people know where to find their cars and get parts and accessories, that kind of thing. And that kind of fits in the same mold as what Motor's doing, making it easier for people to get the charging set up. They work with the installers. Um, it's just one cost, and then you're done. So I think the model that they have is great, and I know they're expanding into other areas of the country, and I'm really excited for what they're doing. I think it's a great model. It's a great crew of people that we've met over the last couple of years, and I think they've got a bright future. I know they've had some pretty significant investment, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do too. So the vehicles you can subscribe to are is a Tesla, a Nissan Leaf, or a Mustang Mach-E, looks like. And it's really a one-time sign up. Like, you just sign up in 2 minutes online, you pay the $400, and you get the vehicle and get a charger installed, and you're ready to rock and roll.
And so I think some of the drawbacks here with the idea of the subscription model is that you're not going to have any equity, like at all. So you're just essentially throwing money away on a rental. And then you're going to limit your availability or your options for customization. If you wanted to add some cool accessories, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, I would say, like, we're going in the leasing, back to kind of leasing and subscription. I am seeing quite a bit, specifically Lucid Air caught my eye. They're shooting me up all the ads online. Their lease offers are pretty attractive. Like, they've improved 100, $200 a month, depending on the trim level. And you're starting to see some manufacturers offer some incentives on leasing, in addition to obviously the purchase price. But as inventory is starting to crawl up a little bit with EVs, some of these incentives are actually pretty good. And like we talked about last episode, we'll see what the automaker strike does to inventory. But it's right now is like not a bad time. The manufacturers are trying to sweeten the pot for some of these after years and years of waiting, you know, or not waiting, but adding to the MSRP. Now it's starting to swing back into the buyers, kind of a buyer's market right now.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Lucid Air, I mean, the lease for that is right now there's an offer for 749 a month, almost 7,700 down at the lease signing, which is a lot. But compared to the Volvo subscription, I mean, we're talking $900 a month for that, and I mean I mean, don't get me wrong, the Volvo is a nice vehicle and all,
The, the
but
Lucid is,
I mean, the Lucid Air is another
yeah,
realm.
Lucid Air is a far superior vehicle.
Yeah, no one's gonna lease a Volvo. I'm confident over a Lucid. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe.
uh, that's
Listener, if you make that decision, I want to hear from you. Please send me a note.
at the same price. I mean,
All right.
I mean, heck, I even thought about leasing a Lucid for that. Honestly, I did because I'm like, that's a heck of
That's
a car
seven
for
grand down.
$700 a month.
it's a
That's
lot now.
negotiable tax credit, man. The tax credit
Okay.
wipes that out.
Yeah, true.
Honestly, okay, now you're
It's 82. It's 82.4, so it's over the limit. But yeah, I mean, maybe if you leased it, it'd be fine. Maybe. No, it wouldn't.
well,
Wouldn't count.
same way as a Kia counts.
Yeah,
Well, would it count because it's over the MSRP?
I don't know.
I think every vehicle's qualify as a
Yeah,
lease.
I mean,
Now that would
Everyone.
be
yeah. So there you go.
that'd be pretty sweet.
Uh-oh. We know what's gonna happen now, Tom, don't we? Mike's gonna get a Lucid. You're gonna get an EV. You're gonna EV9, and Mike's gonna get a Lucid. Which
No.
here's my listener. Here's my future view here. There's no way Mike doesn't get a Lucid at $700 a month. Mike is going to get a Lucid.
Mm-mm.
Mark my words. This is going to happen.
No. I think I would. No, you wouldn't be able to talk to me ever again because I would be on in a river somewhere with like concrete blocks around my ankles or something. I'd be dead. My wife's gonna kill me. So I'm trying to say, Jesus, come on, Tom, stop looking at me like that. You know what I'm trying to say.
So I just want to thank you guys for the episode. As always, this has been entertaining, and I want to congratulate Mike on going as long as he has without buying a new EV that he's told us about.
That's true. How long has it been? It's been 35, 40 days?
No, it's been like 6 months.
60 days?
Yeah,
Wow, that's a long time.
That's good.
6 months, guys. Yeah, it's good. I'm getting the itch again. Oh, one update I do have. This is pretty important. So on the Cybertruck, so I've got 3 orders technically. The Cybertruck because of the mistakes that happened on the
Mistakes were
original.
made.
Even mistakes were made. Yeah, and I know we
Yeah.
talked about that in an earlier episode, but 2 of the 3, when you go in the configurator, it looks like they're going to be ready, available to configure fairly soon. So versus the other ones, again, because these are the first night reservations, we'll see if that pans out or if that was just an error on Tesla's part. My guess is that was not an error. So more to come there, and we can talk about the Cybertruck, Tom's favorite looking vehicle, I think, of all time. And yeah,
How do we know how
just
much
have a
it's
good
going to
night,
cost
all.
yet?
No,
Cool.
nope, not officially. No,
Yeah.
they haven't come back out with the price, or if it's going to have 3 motors or 4, or probably have 3. But yeah, we'll see.
That's fun.
I mean, I want to congratulate Mike because he did something with his Rivian to make it look like a truck. He put cardboard boxes in the back. Is it cardboard boxes? What is that in the back of that truck?
That is a whole bunch of actually plywood and plywood. Yes, because
Plywood scraps, not full sheets. It doesn't look well.
it could have been
It
full.
looks like cardboard.
That.
It looks like cardboard.
Well, I know you need your eyes checked, but what I'm really like, what that is again plywood. It was a whole bunch of boxes from carbon fiber that came in from the manufacturer. So if you're looking for a Model 3 or Model Y carbon fiber, we've got it, and a lot of really good quality stuff.
Can we be done now?
Oh, congratulations! Well, enjoy.
I think that was a good podcast. I can't wait to hear the edited version.
God, yeah, you need to edit the shit out of that thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you for listening to Plug In for More. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, check out the one-stop EV marketplace, evuniverse.com. Until next time.